Students, welcome to my channel. Today again I'm taking the new chapters which is also part of the history, and we have already learned about the different religious groups and how this trade was actually constructed and established, the different countries coming together and then working. So today we will learn about the not the trade and business, but today we will talk about the which is related with the life. For example, this is the religious beliefs and religious debates. In fact, will be here. We can find about the different people who came out. Okay, so today popular beliefs and religious debates. What exactly this title actually explaining, and what the other topic that we will be discussing in this chapter. That is actually we will be here. So here we go like this. So here is the religious ideas that developed actually during the medieval period. These are the topics. Then again, features of these movements, then Bhakti movements and Sufi movements, and we will talk about Guru Nanak, and the last one is a case study about Kabir. So these are the few people or the few topics that we will having here, especially in this chapter. So let us know that during the medieval period, actually, different people or different periods, in fact, witnessing that what type of the period or maybe the century, in fact, will be. So that was actually shown very clearly. So here you will see that one of the important aspect of this cultural amalgamation was the rise of many new religious actually beliefs and ideas. So this is the time, okay, this is the time that actually emerged, and then you can find that the period actually saw the emergence of two new religious movements, and namely the Bhakti movements, and then the other one is a Sufi movement. So this Bhakti movement and Sufi movement, these two movements in fact actually rise, and then it is a kind of like a emergence at the time. Okay, so now here you can understand that this religious thinkers reach the out the different people, a big group of people, and then preaching them in a simple term, and then people understood about it, they accepted it, and in a large group of people, in fact, became a kind of like a religious community. And today you can see India is a vast amount of people are actually because of the influence of that time, that today we can see the result. So anyway, let us talk about the Bhakti movement. Now, what exactly the Bhakti movement all about? Now, you can must remember the word Bhakti means the devotion. The term actually used to describe the bond between the devotee and the God. It may say how much love, how much concern, how much you have the a kind of like feeling towards God, that actually shows in this movement. Especially bhakti means the devotion, the love and concern, the care that you have with regard to God. Okay, so the devotees actually worship God through different songs and meditation, and you can understand that there were many of the songs in fact composed in order to make the God a peace, and to God happy. Varieties of songs are actually sung, and even today, in the audio, you can see, even in the video also you can see there are many of the songs actually composed towards God, to show the devotion about humanity and about God. Okay, so you can understand here. So in contrast to these complex rituals of the ancient period, the Bhakti movement followed a simple approach. It may say in earlier days, when we talk about the God and goddesses, it was quite complicated to understand about it, because at that time people didn't have that type of simple approach to communicate about God, because the language also was very tough to understand. So today we can see that people have been translated, and people in fact actually brought the a new movement in a local language. People are able to preach, and you can understand very clearly about the concept of God. So that is why today, for example, a large number of people have been converted, or rather they have accepted the religion, and then now it is a big community following up. Okay, so that is here we can find, and then we have another things people are actually connecting through simple approach towards God. Here one of the Buddhism and Jainism, the Bhakti movement actually did not believe in the rigid caste system that segregated people. So you must remember that Jainism and Buddhism, in this two religion, in fact a caste system was actually totally out of context, because you have to understand caste systems actually makes the difference between rich and poor. Then you can understand about their professionals, and on the basis of this business and professionals, these are the areas where this caste system actually created the hindrance, created the a kind of like a prevention to people, and then also people were not able to approach to each other, and because of the caste rigidity. So that's why this is one of the area or one of the religion where the caste system has got no space, no place, and people willingly can express whatever things, whatever you are, whatever religion you belong to. But once you accept the Buddhism or Jainism, there they don't consider you as having the caste system and all. So sometimes you can understand there were many of the religious leaders are actually explaining that in Buddhism also there is a caste system, in Jainism also there is caste system. Perhaps here and there some people may speak, but in reality, in religion, it is not having any caste system. Caste system is a kind of like hindrance. That is we have to understand, because you can't approach to the elderly people who belong to the Brahmins. So when you unable to approach towards it, then how you can express? It may say, in spite of your Hinduism followers, but you can't really enter the campus. You can't really accept any of the this prasad, or you can't do the job willingly according to your will and wish, because everything will be decided by the Brahmins, and Brahmins are the, in fact, at the time the dominant group, and they were deciding, they were composing every bit of things for them. It may say they are the lawmakers, and others were not able to do any kind of things, Okay. So this is one of the hindrance for the society, in fact. And those today, for example, in the Indian context, especially the politicians or the RSS or maybe the Bajrang Dals, they are actually claiming that there are many of the community, for example, Adivasi community, or maybe OBC, or maybe tribals. They are saying that they are Hindus, but it is not the you can't simply claim that way, because they are not part of the Hindus. They are the worshipper of the forest. In fact, they have no Shiva, they have no Rama, they have nothing of that set, like a set of image you can see in their community. But due to the kind of like a forceful, or due to the extreme influence created in the in the tribals and all, and then accepted. For example, Ahoms who came from the Yunnan province, China, even these people also, they had their own tribal customs and tribal religion and all. But after coming to Assam, these people also, due to the influence of the Brahmanas, they accepted this Hindu religion, and then they are following now. And still there are some of the Ahoms still in Assam are still following the traditional religion. They are not following the Hinduism. So some kind of things we can understand. It means you can't simply claim that this group of people belong to Hindu. You have to see the original. It means some people have said that Brahmanas are actually not from the originally from India. So however it is true, because they are matching with the DNA of the Eurasia and other part of this world, or something like that, the continent. So they are not from this country originally. So there is the things actually what called a kind of like a declaration is going on, and if it is proved that Brahmanas are not part of this India, it means that's why they are perhaps they are actually creating the kind of like a approach, a dominant group. They try to dominate. That is the thing. If they are from originally from India, they could have not done any sort of like a dominating on the others. So that is very true. It means suppose you belong to our country India, you will be behaving as equal to everyone else. For example, in the tribal society, we don't see there is a inequalities. There, men and women all are actually behaving equally, and they don't have the this caste rigidity, or they don't have the other approach like behaving like a low caste, high caste, like that. We don't see in the tribal society. It means if the tribal societies are actually the original group of this India, it means Brahmanas are not original, because the way they are approaching, the way they are treating, the way they are actually behaving, so that shows that they are not from this country originally, and they are from the out of this country. That's how we can find that dominating the group. Otherwise, you also belong to this country India. How you can dominate the others? Okay, so anyway, it will come in reality as the time pass by, as the study will go on, as the test will be conducted. Okay, so before you claim, you must know the reality, you must know the your originality. And that's why today, for example, many of the politicians are coming forward, and then there are so much of things are actually speaking about Hinduism, and Hinduism is the originally what called created in India, and Brahmins are actually the real inhabitants of India. Many other things they are speaking. So we simply can't believe anyone else. We simply can't believe, and let us see what is the study will go on. What is the study will tell us? Okay, so that's why before believing all this, you must careful in a on all on a sudden to accept all this statement from this Brahmanas. Okay, so they are very cunning, and because of that cunningness, I think today they are dominating in every areas. So that's why we have to be careful of all these approaches. So, however, the Bhakti movements actually that emerged actually during the medieval period in India originated in the South India, in fact, and spread northwards from there. And the spread and the popularity of the like a Bhakti movement can be created to the Albers and Nayanars. Now you see there were two groups of people, in fact, actually found in this time. That is Albers and then Nayanars. Actually, that moved around from one place to another place in order to make people approach and to spread this particular religion or this movement, to make people known. Okay, then therefore this is the one of the agenda, or one of the what call like their objectives. So next we have got this Albers and Nayanars. Let us know about the Albers and Nayanars, how this Albers and Nayanars in fact actually played a role in this movement. Now we can see between the 7th and 9th century. So between the 7th and 9th century, within this time period, the Albers and Nayanars in fact strengthened. It means that they have made a very strong community, and they started spreading this movement, especially Bhakti movement, especially in South India. And the Albers and Nayanars in fact preach in Tamil and Telugu. So these are the local language of that area, so people understood, which were actually the local languages, and therefore easily understood by common people. So there many of the people, in fact, in a large community, people explained in this Tamil and Telugu, and then the people understood very clearly. So they belong to different caste. Some saints were actually Brahmanas, while many also came from the lower caste, and many saints were actually common people who previously worked as farmers and artisans. And there were also many women saints, such as Albar saints, poet Andal, and the Nayanar saints Karaikal, Amayar. So these are the names that are actually mentioned. Okay, so these are the names you have to have mentioned, and these are the people actually became a kind of like a saints, and they were actually preaching. So Alvar Sains were actually the Tamil poet saints of South India. Must remember now, Alvar Sains were the Tamil poet saints, okay, of South India, and they were actually Vaishnavites. So these Alvars were actually Vaishnavites, devotees of Vishnu. Okay, and then Nayanars were a group of 63 saints. Nayanars were the group of 63 saints who were actually devoted to the Hindu god Shiva, and were known as the Shaivatais. So they were the worshipper of Shiva. And the Alvar and Nayanar saints roamed from one place to another, singing devotional songs in a praise of God. So these are the things we can see. So now let us see these two different groups, how they have been working or to whom they are worshipping. So let us know the difference between these Alvars and Nayanars. Now see, Alvars were the devotees of Lord Vishnu, whereas Nayanars actually devotees of Lord Shiva. This is the difference. Second difference, Alvars were 12 Alvars, means there were 12 Alvars who came from divergent backgrounds. It may say Alvars were from the divergent, different groups came, and whereas these Nayanars were 63 Nayanars who belong to different caste backgrounds, okay, because at that time caste was actually quite strong enough, in fact, and then this caste system was prevailing from that quite an ancient period onwards. Okay, so here you can find. Then in Alvar sense, you can, what do you find? Periyaval, Periyalvar, you must remember, Periyalvar, then Andal and a Namalvar. These are the names you have to mention. Were well-known Alvar saints. These are the names, okay. And Nayanar saints are who are the Appar, then Sambadar, then Sundarar, and Manika Vaskagar. Were well-known Nayanar saints. Okay, so these are the things actually you have to understand. So Bhakti saints were also divided on the basis of Saguna and Nirguna. Saguna and Nirguna, that God had a form, while the Nirguna followers believed that God did not exist in the form. So you can understand that Bhakti saints were also divided on the basis of Saguna and Nirguna. Now followers of Saguna believed that, Saguna means who believed that the God had a form. God had a form. It means God can approach us, God can be seen just as a human being. But the other group, Nirguna, the followers saying that God has got no any form. It means God doesn't have, or God did not exist in a form. It may say it is a kind of like a air, unseen God. Okay, so this is the thing you have to understand. Okay, in my next class I will talk about the Bhakti saints, and followed by there were many of the people who actually approach. Okay, so thank you.